get on the phone, get on a call with them and see if you connect. And if you don't resonate with them, go elsewhere. You've got to really feel something with that person, because I don't think you'll make a connection visually if you don't make a connection emotionally.
How do you choose a good photographer then? Because I mean, again, and no disrespect, the photographers are 10 a penny, but finding a good one is like a bit of a needle in a haystack. So how do you find a good one?
Yeah, it's a bit like trying to find a podcast guest and put your finger out there and you'll find a business coach. It's they'll always turn up, mate. And it is about finding that connection. You know, you've got to look at their work and like their work. You've got to see their recent work and connect with that. And then I think you've got to connect with the person. It's exactly the same as when I've been working with brides and grooms over the years. I always say, you've got to like me and I've got to like you. And it's a two-way street. You've got to be on the same wavelength, because otherwise it's impossible. You just end up pushing water uphill, and we all know how that works. So you've got to connect on a personal level, I think. Liking the work is one thing, but you've got to connect personally and really feel comfortable with that person. Personal branding's a little bit different to a wedding. You know, you're with them for 2 hours, not 12 hours, and you're not sharing the most precious moment of your day and, you know, of your life with them. But I still think it's that personal connection that matters. Work with someone that you want to work with. You know, find someone who's happy to put their voice out there. If you want to be that way, get on the phone, get on a call with them and see if you connect. And if you don't resonate with them, go elsewhere. You've got to really feel something with that person, because I don't think you'll make a connection visually if you don't make a connection emotionally.
It's interesting you kind of came at it from that perspective, because like seeing it as an emotional connection as opposed to a visual one. I suppose on a purely practical level, you can obviously look at portfolio of images, and that gives you an idea about what the finished article is going to look like, albeit you don't know what the variables are going to be on the day. I was interested to hear what you said about sort of what do they give you before you show up to the shoot. So in terms of that pre-work and the planning side of things, so from your perspective, what do you mean? What are the steps which you go through then before you actually show up to shoot?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So it's all about understanding who they're trying to speak to. You've got to understand their market point and understand why they're wanting the shoots. You know, so for me, I'm jumping on a Zoom call with them, or I'm grabbing a coffee in good old fashioned times when we used to be able to do that, and sit down and see if we've got that connection, and then understand who they're trying to speak to and why. And then we'll start talking about their brand, where their brand's at, and colors and textures, and where they're going to use it, looking at their website and things to make sure that the imagery that we're creating is going to match. And then a lot of the time then is actually put into scouting for the venues, looking for those right conditions, looking for that right sort of timing, and then it's guidance on outfits. So it's literally is a full on service. It's not just being a photographer, it's being a stylist and everything else. And quite often I'm jumping on that final planning call where we're just running through all the final details so the client knows exactly what to expect. And I'm looking at outfits on a camera and it's like, what do you think about this and this? And giving my opinion. Yeah, it's only an opinion, but it's an opinion that clearly matters to them because they're using me as their photographer. And it's just guiding all the way through. That's before we've even got to the shoot. And then on the shoot, it's guidance all the way through. You've got to pre-plan things to know what impact you can get from the images. And that's what I'm working on. It's like, right, okay, let's work on wardrobe changes. Let's work on what we can do with hair and, you know, makeup maybe, that we're thinking about changing things up during the shoot. And of course, it's a lot easier to put makeup on than it is to take it off. So you start calmer and then add it in. It's just simple, practical things that just comes with years of experience. But there's so much guidance involved before the shoots, then we're doing the shoots. And then, of course, afterwards, we're running through, we're talking about the images, working out what they love, talking about what I love and why it works. And then preparing images for them ready to use for the different platforms and being like, these are your bank of images that can be your cover photos. These can be your profile photos. Let's pick this one for this part of your brand and this one for this one because of this reason. It's very much a full guidance service that, as I say, pressing the button's the easy part, mate. It's giving the maximum impact. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because I've worked with photographers in the past. You end up with 100 plus shots and I've literally just been handed the disc and said, here you go. And I'm like, great. What do I do with these now? It's like, you know, stick a couple on my social profiles and things like that. But there's probably like one which I really like, which I keep on using on all of the different places. But understanding how to use all of the different shots, that's something which I just don't really understand. So if you've got a variety of shots, how do you get the most out of them once you've done the shoot?
You need someone to guide you through and give you ideas of where you can use them and where they can add value. It's realizing ones that can stand out great for your social media posts and dropping onto your lead magnets and things. I think you need that guidance. I was the same, and I had my personal branding shoots and ended up with just a folder of images, and you know, we went through it, and Aideen did an awesome job. She's one of the best photographers I know. But to actually then know what to do with it, if I hadn't got that skill set, it'd be like, wow, this is a little bit overwhelming. Apart from asking the wife which images I should use, because she's always right, it's trying to understand where to go. And I think you do need that guidance. You need someone who's just going to be brutally honest with you, tell you what to do with them. And that's why I like to give a whole guidance and literally set of folders of images that they can just go into and just use. So yeah, sizing them for the web is one thing, but actually putting them in a folder, this is for this use, just makes life so much easier for them.